Okay, so we've got some student outcomes. We had an LBB requirement, a legislative requirement, to do a study on dual credit outcomes a couple of years ago. And it's actually a study that I ran, and I should say I conducted. And the information here is based on that study, and so it's not more recent. And I always hoped that I could put more recent, but I was a new SAS user, and I was going to do everything, and so we've got some pretty complicated information here. But it took a long time, and I've just haven't had a chance to update it, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to. So what we have done is we've put some outcome data in the almanac, and we're updating that every year, and I've just got to get that moved over to here, and we'll do that soon. So we do in the almanac, and I won't say anything else about the almanac because Ginger's going to present that, but we do have information not only about dual credit enrollments by institution, some of the stuff you just saw that we've put in the almanac, but we do show for students who did dual credit at an institution, we show what happened to them wherever they went at a Texas Public. So it will show if the student persisted, the percentage of the dual credit students that persisted 1 year, and also the percentage that earned a bachelor's degree, and then the percentage that earned a bachelor's or associate's degree. So we have a couple of elements in the almanac that are up to date that we do every year that track, for example, at Blinn, if you had 1,000 students who did dual credit at Blinn, we look at any of those who enrolled in a Texas Public or independent, and we look to see in a particular year, and we look to see where they still enrolled a year later and how many have graduated in 4 years. And you see some pretty good 4-year graduation rates, which you would expect to see for students who had done some hours before they enrolled. And you'll see in some of this data, you see a lot of information, and we've got it by where the student did the dual credit and also by where the student enrolled after the dual credit. It's actually, it's nice data to have, and we will try to update it at some point. But see, we only go to fall 09. And this doesn't go as far because, again, it was done in 10. Let me just, sorry, Ginger, can you go?
Sure, what do you want me to do?
I'm going to go back one. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay. Of course not. Okay, let me go to the statewide summary. We don't need to do it by institution. And I'm going to pick an early year because the early year you can see a little bit more because we were able to track it across. So it basically shows, and we have this information for all the institution, it shows how many students did dual credit, and for any institution it breaks it out by how many did 1 to 11 hours and 12 to 30 hours, how many were still enrolled a year later, how many earned a certificate by high school graduation, and the first year associate. You can see I was so excited about doing that. We have all these outcomes, and the legislature wanted detail. So we have all these interesting outcomes. So we don't have it tracked through the most recent year, but we did do some earlier years. So it's kind of interesting to see what students are doing who do dual credit. But in the almanac, as I said, we do show for students who did dual credit at a particular community college, we show how many were still 1 year later at the university or college where they started, or at least somewhere in Texas, and how many 4 years later had earned some kind of a degree.